Politics is made simple. We are your two hosts. I am Tisha S. Waddell, former city council representative for the 3rd District in the city of North Carolina and current candidate for mayor in the city of Fayetteville, and Mr. Elmer Floyd, former House representative for the 43rd District in the state of North Carolina, and a current advocate against unnecessary development practices in our community. Hi, Mr. Floyd. How you doing?
Well, not too good, Tish. I'm still upset from you from last week when you had Brightspeed to hook up my hard line. I mean, I was doing just fine.
We need to make sure that we can call you by any means necessary, because as the city is moving forward, these requests to change zoning and to consider all these developments, your people need to be able to get in touch with you.
I don't know, Tish. I tell you what, I'm gonna put a box across the street by the graveyard and tell them they can leave it in there. You know, because it's just ridiculous with the phone calls. I mean, you know, uh, they want to they want to buy your house, they want to buy your fence. I mean, come on. But anyway, I'm doing all right, Tish.
Absolutely.
Other
Absolutely.
than that, but let me share with you, if I can, the announcement for this week.
Let's do that, because you keep us all well informed. What are our announcements today, sir?
Well, there's going to be a community day on November the 1st, and that's going to be at the Muslim Museum, Mass, and that's going to be at 27 Murchison Road, and the time is going to be from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3. And don't forget the NAACP banquet, which is the Founders Day banquet, which is going to be September the 13th, and that's going to be at Island on
Excuse me.
Fort Bragg with the doors open at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
And then, the city of Wilmington has a lot of things that they post as it relates to the African American community. And they're going to have the March on Washington 62nd anniversary at Ebenezer Power Center. I think it's 2929 Princeton Place in Wilmington, North Carolina. And that's going to be a breakfast. So, if you're in the area, please attend. And I had the opportunity to teach to attend 2 events this weekend, and that was the Vet Unlimited, which is part of, they have a relationship with the Triple Nickel,
Mm-hmm.
and the Umojo Festival at Seabrook. And they was well, they
Well
was
attended.
well attended, and people came out and provided support for them. And the other thing, Tish, is that there will be a meeting at First Baptist Church on September the 9th, and it's referenced the Martin Luther King, the community that's want to have a discussion and an understanding and a direction as it relates to the King, to the activities that the committee is doing. And then there was a rumor came out of Rumorville, and if I can ask you that, I appreciate you giving me an answer to
Okay.
that.
Look, what's the rumor, Mr. Floyd?
Well, they say that certain people attended before the AFL-CIO, and they got an endorsement, and say that Rumorville is that they endorse you. Is that correct or
That is
incorrect?
correct. That is correct. I have been endorsed by the AFL-CIO as their choice for candidate for mayor of the city of
Okay, then.
Fayetteville.
So I just want to know that that's part of a rumor deal. And then there's
That is
another
correct.
rumor out there also, is that the Martin Luther King Committee may be receiving shortly a letter to cease and desist. So that too is part of rumor
Mr.
deal,
Floyd,
but
cease and desist what, sir?
it's activities. So I don't know, but that's part of it, and they should be getting that notice, room revealed, within the next couple of days.
Wow.
So that's that's what we are to. And if we can get I know I talked with you about this as it relates to voting, and one occurred in the zoning meeting that I hope we get a chance to talk about. And the county board of commission was discussing about how do they address when a member is not present there. And to me, as a member of the General Assembly, you could not vote unless you were number one in the chamber at your seat and cast a vote. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that if you were not, then the record would show that you was excused or absent.
And you did not have to be asked to be excused.
No, you just
So the
absent.
Fayetteville City Council's policy is slightly different. The Fayetteville City Council's policy, if you attend a meeting, if you come into a meeting, there's a quorum of the meeting, and the meeting starts, and for any reason you leave the meeting, if you leave without asking to be excused and a vote being taken to excuse you, any vote that transpires thereafter in your absence is considered an affirmative vote on your behalf. Now, if you ask to be excused and the vote supports your excusal, then your vote is not counted. Now, here's the interesting thing, Mr. Floyd. That leaves your vote in the hands of your peers in terms of whether or not, first of all, they will excuse you, and secondarily, you have to be conscious of that policy so that you can apply it correctly.
Well, I mean, the man on the corner would say, "Is that not voter fraud?"
Because you can't vote for me, right?
That's what I mean. It is my vote. Okay, it is my vote. So if I opt to lead the meeting, it's good or bad or ugly for me.
Well, and to play good cop, bad cop, and I'll be the bad cop in this instance, to play good cop, bad cop, Mr. Floyd, it's also a responsibility of a council member to know their policies and to adhere to them. I do want to say this. I thought that it was very commendable, and we're sort of jumping ahead a little bit, but we will go back. I did think it was, well, I'll wait until we get to that part. But Mr. Floyd, do you have any other announcements? Because I have one that I forgot to give to you that I want us to share.
No, let me see. Now that's all Tish, that I have that's been given to me and what has come across mine.
Okay, so I want to share this with our audience. I am actually hosting an event, and I'm hosting this event as a it's not a campaign rally, but it is hosted by my campaign. It's called Praise is Greater Than Politics. And I want for our audience to share the word, come out and join believers for this citywide praise and worship experience, just to seek God on behalf of our city. There's not going to be any active campaigning. There's not going to be any fundraising. It's going to be worship, corporate prayer, a short word. And we just want people to come together. Our speaker is going to be Dr. Ernest Jones, who's the pastor at True Vine Ministries. And the psalmist is going to be Pastor Rodney Rains. That's going to be on September the 13th from 2 to 4. And that's going to be at 5315 Morganton Road. So I do hope that people will prioritize coming on out and attending this event. This event really, again, is not a campaign rally. I have invited every one of the campaign, every one of the elected officials and hopefuls who are on the ballot in the upcoming municipal election. So you should be able to interface with them if they come out. But this is all about taking some time to lift God up over our city collectively and just seeking him for some direction on where we go from here. Because Mr. Floyd, you know as well as I do, we have a lot of heavy lifts in front of us. We have a lot of heavy lifts.
I just ask that you keep a crane available.
A big crane, a few of them. And Mr. Floyd, one of the things that we kind of alluded to at the beginning of this was some rezoning requests that came before the city council. Now, Mr. Floyd, before we speak specifically about those rezoning requests, I know, let's talk a little bit about what we know about government, because again, we exist to make understanding the political process simpler, right? Yeah. So let's share with our audience what our experience is in terms of how these requests come before a governing body and how the details are typically worked out before you even enter into that room. So one of the things that we saw, let's start first with the rezoning request for the land that is across the street from your neighborhood and that abuts Gola Drive, which, by the way, when I was out talking to people on Gola Drive this week, they're not happy about this. They're not happy about this. And I will get you the constituents number information who wants to be kept in the loop, because I told her that I'd make sure that I did that.
Okay.
But Mr. Floyd, there was I'm going to pull it up now. There was a public hearing scheduled. Oh, wait, we forgot one item on our announcements. Let's talk about these dorms, Mr. Floyd.
Oh
What
yes,
is
could
this?
you?
What is this video that I'm getting ready to? What's this video
Yeah.
sir, that's getting ready to play?
When you look at quadplex and duplex, okay, now that's one. And then I want the public to see when parents were bringing their children to a HBCU, the type of dormitory that they placed the students in.
Mm-hmm.
I won't use the word that we use on the street. I just want you to see the video. It's unbelievable with the keep up of the property prior
Yeah.
to bringing them students there. I just want the public to see, and the African American caucus ought to see this and just be concerned.
You ready?
Yes.
This the sign they were talking about. Imagine dropping your child off here, Mr. Floyd.
Yeah.
So the first thing you notice is that the grounds are terribly unkept. It looks
Yes.
like the building has not been pressure washed in quite some time.
Yes.
You look at the sidewalk area and the above area. That's a pressure washing concern. So you've got spiders, potentially maybe some wasps cohabitating. You need some landscaping done. These are all maintenance issues, right? Now this is what really this got me. You see trash sitting out, and then when you come around this corner, you continue to see a lack of landscaping. And we're not gonna call the name of the location. Look at this. Just garbage sitting out, just unkept.
Now, one I want you to see is where since Larry is it,
Mr.
Larry wouldn't do
That's the
this.
part that got me. Don't say nothing. It's coming up. It's coming up.
Larry,
It's coming up.
Larry wouldn't do this.
Mr. Floyd, when I saw this, I was like, you have got to be kidding. Look at more garbage. This is what people are dropping their children off to. I don't understand it. If I told my daughter, we were looking at this, I said, if I took you to school, here comes Mr. Floyd.
This it. This is it now. They replaced the air conditioner. Then look at it. They
Left
left them there. An air conditioning company,
two of
once
them.
they, they remove them same day.
Langdon Heating and Air removes them same day. We don't leave garbage.
Same day. It's good service that you provide.
Mr. Floyd, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
But this is what parents had to drop their students off to put them in this kind of learning environment.
And if this is where they have to live, I can't imagine what that experience is like. And I told my daughter, I said, if I took you to school and this is what we walked into, I'd probably take you home.
I mean, but this is what you talk about, a learning environment. I mean, when their homes are not kept like this, or the neighborhoods in which many of them come from are not kept like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you bring them to this environment. But I just wanted to show you that because it was sent to me, and I was able to make some calls to get those persons on the board of governors and also the person that oversee education to take a look at this. I mean, I know, Tish, that it may be whatever, but before you bring students or anyone into that environment, it should have been some maintenance done prior to. So I just want the public to see that there, and I thank you for showing it to the public.
Absolutely. So now back to what we were talking about as far as the rezoning. So, Mr. Floyd, when you all went into, I love that you laugh because I know you really don't think it's funny. It's the laughter that lets me know you really don't think it's funny. You guys went into a meeting, and when you went into this meeting, there was an expectation because when you go into a rezoning request meeting for a public hearing, you have to prepare yourself. You have to have your speakers prepared. You have to ensure that everybody knows their role, that they come prepared to do their part. You have to get your information together, and you come prepared to present in front of the governing body, whether you're coming in favor of or against whatever the request is. There's a process that goes into this. Mr. Floyd, tell me what happened when you all arrived prior to you all arriving at City Hall.
Let me go back, Tisha, if I can, to go back to July the 8th. You
Hmm.
know, we rushed to the first planning board meeting, and we was told at that meeting that the zoning matter may be poor.
Right.
Okay.
What does
So now
that
what
mean
you
for
have
people
to,
that don't understand what that means? What does it mean when they say it may be pulled?
it may not be on the agenda, but you have to understand that that item can't be pulled because you told me that. It
Right.
had to wait until it come up.
Right.
Okay. An official vote is taken on that to be tabled or postponed or whatever. Then at some point in time, you may get a fixed date for the next meeting. So you will have to stay around for the game that may be played. Because that person can walk in after all of your people walk out, and all of a sudden is prepared to make his or her presentation to
Hmm.
that governing board. So having said that, we stayed around, and had we not stayed around,
Hmm.
the next meeting was in City Hall.
Hmm.
So we would have left going back to the transit station for that meeting that was on July the 25th, because we left the meeting and we assumed that the meeting is going to be at the same place on the 25th. But we was able to let our person know that it was at City Hall, and and when we was in the zoning commission meeting, other people were making presentation, and they had what land use plan and all this.
Hmm.
This person came in, unorganized, and said that we were waiting to get the approval of the zoning before we do ABC. You know, but during the zoning commission meeting prior to, the technical review committee of the city reviewed it and said that we needed to have that it need to have two emergency entries. So
Hmm.
they only had one. Okay. So that meant that whatever plan that they had, they presented to the technical review board for the
Hmm.
technical review board to make that recommendation. But the zoning commission did not have that information before
Right.
them. So to me, that if there any relationship, all information should forward to the next committee that may hear this. Okay. So having looked at that and the process, teach, they have a good process. So the person can call and receive the information of how many is for or how many against. So if I look up there and see I got 20 people against the project, and they lose in the African American community, what we do, we'll wait them out.
Right. And so,
We
Mr.
would,
Floyd, just to make sure that people truly are catching this, what I'm understanding you're saying is when there's a process like this that comes before these bodies, they have to publicly notice it. And so when they publicly notice it, that gives the people that are in a perimeter that could potentially be affected by this project an opportunity to determine
100 feet,
whether they want to come and
1,000 feet, I think it was.
right. So it gives them a chance to come out and be heard. So when they come out to be heard, in order to be heard, they have to first get on the schedule,
Yes,
which means
sign
that
up.
they have to reach out to the city clerk and put their name on the agenda to be heard. And they have to indicate whether they are in favor of or against when they make that contact.
And they
So
must get the name, rank, and serial number.
correct. So and I'm gonna use your term, a reasonable minded individual would be able to infer that that information, because it is made available before the meeting. Like when you go into the meeting, at least when I was there, they would let you know how many people you have signed up for your public hearing, and where
Mhm.
they, like, how many of them stood where or where. So you could infer from that that the developer or whoever is bringing this forward also may know that information. And if they think it's going to be a heavy lift, they might just ask for that item to be pulled or tabled, and then they can bring it back when they assume you won't show up, because the process is not the same to notify everybody the second time around.
That is, that is correct. And then what you have to look at, the developer knows this and do not have to pay if they opt to re-advertise and notify the community. You, the taxpayer, pick up that notification tab for that second. Okay, if they opt to do that. But the key thing that you mentioned, I don't have to notify you. Okay. So if you're not notified, that means the developer can come up. And I think that Mario made a very good point. If you are not present,
You you just not here. We moving on without you.
see, so the thing, they could have moved on, uh, and denied that the developer has a year to come back with his or her proposal. Now, I think Malik Davis and what he told me was beautiful, Tish. I mean, it was beautiful. We have to be fair to the developer. Now, suppose our group representative is unable to make our presentation.
It will not stop them from hearing
You
this.
think they will pull it? You think they will pull it?
It will not stop them. In fact, one of the
No.
members of the community, the one that I told you wanted to get back in touch with you, she was not feeling well that night. And had she called in and said, I'm not feeling well tonight, I need you guys to hear this another night, respectfully, they would have moved right on ahead and heard the case and made their decision.
But if I was,
And I'm gonna say this. When I listened to this portion of the meeting, I was a little flabbergasted because I don't understand. Well, first, let me play this. You asked me to play this message that you all received. You ready?
Now, what I want you to do, just look at this person's demeanor.
Well, first, I'm going to play the voicemail that you all received. What time did you say you received the voicemail?
I received the voicemail at 5:08 on the 25th,
which is,
and the council meeting at 6:30.
So I was going to say it's an hour and 22 minutes before you're scheduled to be at the meeting. I'm going to play this. Let me know if you can hear it.
Hello, Mr. Floyd. This is Sabina with the city clerk's office. I do see where you were signed up to speak tonight in opposition to item 9.01, the rezoning of 2211 Roseville Road. We just wanted to inform you that there is a request to table this item. It's up to council whether or not they decide to. So we just want to let you know that should you come to the meeting tonight, there may be a chance that you won't get to speak, but you still could.
So, Mr. Floyd, she made a very important distinction. She said it is up to council as to whether they choose to do that or not. So council had the ultimate say in whether or not they were going to move ahead with this request, or they were going to wait and have it heard when the developer was prepared. So now I'm going to pull up the second video, which is the video where Mr. Harmon was presenting. And let me get out of there. Okay. Mr. Floyd, it's going to take me just a second to pull it all up. Bear with me for just a second.
But while you're doing that, look out there, look at the demeanor of the person that making this presentation before a governing body.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Just a brief check. All items still on, or there was one for council to consider?
This is the one that the applicant has requested be tabled.
Okay.
This is the one that the applicant has requested to be tabled.
Okay.
So I just want to pause right there really quickly, Mr. Floyd, because I want to say this. I think that the forced ignorance that the mayor is displaying, is this the one that that is there some issue with this? If you all were notified, trust me, so was the council. Okay. So he was aware that they were getting ready and they had already remembered there's a whole meeting upstairs, Mr. Floyd,
Yes.
before the meeting downstairs. It's called a dinner meeting. It takes place upstairs in the Saint of Old room. And they meet for about an hour where they talk about what's on the agenda. And they are able to go around, and it's publicly noticed, and media's in the room. It's not a private meeting. But during this time, they're able to get a feel for where everybody falls on what's going on. So this was not the first time that he was hearing this information, and there should have been no false ignorance put forward as if, well, I don't know what's going on, because that's what I pick up from that. But let's go back and finish playing the video.
All right, so just before you go into your presentation, do you have anything to elaborate on the request that came into the clerk today about the table? Is it one of the parties missing? Is it what was the letter or email or the request, Mr. Harmon?
The property owner, I did have a phone call conversation with and said there was a medical emergency with the person who was supposed to represent them tonight. And that person cannot be here, so that's why their request.
All right, Council, I'll leave it to you to make a motion, Councilman.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Floyd. So with that being said, my question is, I'm gonna finish playing this, but with that being said, now you are a seasoned politician, as you say, right?
Somewhat.
So with that being said, if you are the council member who represents this district, Mr. Colvin just said, I'll leave it up to the council to make a motion on basically how we're going to address what you've just brought before us. Because as you heard in the voicemail, the person who left you the voicemail said it's up to the council whether they will hear this or not. Mr. Floyd, if you're the representative for the people in this area, and they have shown up, what is your position in terms of this request?
Well, two things I would have done to you. I would have motioned to move it forward because I'm looking out there at my constituents.
Okay.
That's a shrewd politician. You know, then he or she also has the feeling of his colleagues. Second, if I would have made the motion, then I would allow my constituents who sit there for about 2 hours to at least say hi. A shrewd politician in there, at least say hi. Okay.
Hear your people. So let's listen. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happened. You can see my screen still?
Yes.
Just a brief check. All items still on, or there was one council to consider?
This is the one that the applicant has requested be tabled.
Okay.
This is the one that the applicant has requested to be tabled.
Okay. All right. So I guess before you go into your presentation, do you have anything to elaborate on the clerk's request that came into the clerk today about the tabling? Is it one of the parties missing? Is it, what was the letter or email or the request, Mr. Harmon?
The property owner, I did have a phone call conversation with and said that there was a medical emergency with the person who was supposed to represent them tonight. And that person cannot be here, so that's why their request.
All right, Council, I'll leave it to you to make a motion. Councilmember Davis.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to thank the residents that came out tonight to speak, and also that were at the meeting that was outside in the community. So tonight there will be no decision made. So at this time, I would like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor. I would like to table this item 9.01 to October 27th at the next city council meeting for this hearing.
So he did exactly the opposite of what you said.
A shrewd politician would have had two options to do, because I'm looking at out there at my constituents and I can count votes. Okay. I can count votes. I would have recognized and gave my constituents due consideration.
Well, he recognized y'all. He thanked y'all for coming, and then made sure he let you guys know there will be no decision made. So
I
he
mean,
let you know. And not only, and let me tell you,
that's
he,
okay.
but
That's
he
okay. But you could have
tipped y'all
given.
off. He tipped y'all off to the play, because the fact that he already knew that there would
Yes.
be no decision made meant that he already knew that he had the vote to table this. They had already decided that. So when
Yes.
he said there will be no decision made tonight, that is an indicator to everybody listening that they had already decided they weren't going to hear this, which again is why I don't understand why the mayor feigned ignorance in this conversation.
Tish, you have to look at it. And that's why we have to remain and come, because of the gamemanship
The
that is, that is played now. So when you, not only that, Tish, not only that, but when I got there and I sat down, well, they got a copy of the agenda when you walk in. Okay. So, all of us is not technical to pull the agenda up, on our electronic devices. So we reach over there and we get this hard copy.
Mhm.
So when we get the hard copy, we see the zoning commission and the professional staff recommend that the city council move to approve the map. Okay.
So let's
Now
finish
remember,
listening, because somebody pointed that out. Let's finish listening.
All right, so motion by Councilmember Davis to table until the date mentioned. Is that a second? Councilmember Hondros, all right?
Let's
Discussion
have a
on the
brief
motion?
discussion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Benavides.
Mr. Harmon, can you share with me, or if you're looking at our document here, it says the zoning commission and professional planning staff recommended approval of the map amendment, but is that accurate?
That was a typo on
Okay.
that.
I'm gonna pause it right there.
I mean,
First of
you
all, let me
know,
point something out. I want to point something out to everybody that's watching this. I'm familiar with these tactics because I was always on the receiving end. Like the position that you see Mario in right now, where he has to be the purveyor of truth in the midst of a whole lot of confusion and gamesmanship. That's the position that I sat in when I was there for 4 years, Mr. Floyd. So I'm very grateful for the continuation of that in him as an individual. And I will say that when he asked that question, because see what a smart what an intellect does is they don't ask a question that they don't already have some frame of reference or an answer to.
Mhm.
So he knew that there was an error. And one of the things that you asked me that I had to really sit and think about only for about 30 seconds was, why would they put out an agenda with an error on it? Especially if Mr. Harmon is saying, oh, that's been corrected. Where has the correction been made? Because this hard copy that everybody in this room has the error on it. Let's finish watching.
Yeah, it's corrected. In your PowerPoint that's in your packet is correct.
Okay, so in fact, the zoning commission did not approve
They
that.
did not, and this is coming on appeal from the applicant.
Okay, thank you. And I guess just again, appreciating the community that organized around this issue, that came out here to speak today on this issue. My concern is certainly with making it difficult for the community to come back again when they were expecting to be heard on this particular evening. So, my interest is in us moving forward. As an attorney, if you are a prosecuting witness, you don't show up for your case gets dropped. So the folks that are here to speak, I believe they should have an opportunity to do so. We should move forward with this hearing, and if they didn't have a person to come, they should have brought someone else. Thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Floyd, what say you about that before we hear how this vote turns out?
well, I mean, he is right, because if that person was not there, okay, we mentioned earlier, then they have a right to come back within a year, to bring this, if I'm not mistaken, to bring this matter back up again. So you penalize the community, for organizing themselves to make a presentation to the council that they did not agree with the zoning, of this. But one thing that I like that that took place. If I can look at the 7-Eleven with Attorney Charleston, which was able to move that forward. Attorney Charleston came, and he also brought another attorney with him. So if he wasn't able to make the presentation, she was able to make the presentation to go forward.
Absolutely.
So what I'm simply saying is that developers know how to play you. They know how to play
they play the long game. They play the long game. Let's see how this vote fell, Mr. Floyd.
All right. So there's a motion and a second on the floor. We've had discussion. Council, this is to table it for the continuation date of October the 27th. All right. All right. Council, look to you for action.
Everybody.
All right. Motion carries 8-1, 9-1,
9.
with the absence of council member.
See, that's the problem that I talked with you about before.
Right.
Is that you all voted, Tisha, and you running for mayor, you all voted for Miss McNair. I mean,
didn't vote for her. I'm not in her district, but her district voted for her, and in her absence, her vote counted affirmatively, whether she intended for it to or not, because she either didn't know the process, or she was a part of the play.
She knew the process or not. You voted for her. She ran from a district.
Mm-hmm.
She did not run citywide. So you, in fact, voted for her district with your policy now. I understand that. With your policy. And that's something that the council ought to look at. Although when a meeting starts, if you walk out and only 3 persons there, they can control the meeting going forward. And that's the same problem that the county board of commissioner has and the city council has. Either you are absent, present, or excused.
Because we did see that happen with the county commissioners with the vote in regards to how they were going to handle the Civic Center. Now, Mr. Floyd, I want to make mention of something, and I see that somebody just said this, so I'm glad they said it, and I want to kind of elaborate on it. So we have a comment from Pamela, and she said, this is an example of why more people don't show up to City Hall, and some of our leaders count on that. So here's what I want to say. When we talk about apathy in government, this is why. This is why, because you will never have people who prioritize showing up when you don't prioritize the people who showed up. This is why it was dismissive, it was disrespectful, and it was distasteful. And I'll tell you exactly what you said could have transpired. You can't be here, no problem. Come back later, appeal it. Now you appeal again, because this is your move. These people showed up, you're not here. This is on you now. We also saw distasteful, disrespectful, and disdainful, like just contempt for the people when we heard how the people were talked about by their representatives in that room, in their faces, when it came to the 7-Eleven conversation. Mr. Hondros made comments that essentially said, you had all these chances to be heard. I'm paraphrasing now. You had all these chances to be heard. We're done hearing you. We're moving forward. We've made this decision. You had a chance at this point, this point, and this point to say you didn't want it or you didn't like it. Oh, well, you didn't. Here we are. This council demonstrates time and time again, and not just this board, but the Fayetteville City Council historically has demonstrated time and time again that the voice of the people is not the priority. Rather, the voice of special interest is.
Well, let me say this to you now that you mentioned him. Now I love his comment that he made. We are either open for business or we're not. Remember that. We're either open for business or we are not. Now, so if I was running for the city council and was elected to the, one of my goals would be to do away with the zoning division, okay, and the zoning commission to save hundreds of thousands of dollars and have the technical review committee to do this right here. That the proposed zoning align with the future land use plan. So I will have the technical review committee to just ask one question: is there concrete in the ground? And the technical review committee say, yes, there's concrete in the ground, build it.
Mr. Floyd, I need you to make something make sense to me because I can read. I can read and I can reason. Okay.
Hmm.
I know how to read a map. I had to learn how to do that when I was in middle school.
Hmm.
When I'm looking at the 2040 land use plan, and we're specifically talking about the 7-Eleven situation, I saw that was zoned as mixed use and high density residential.
Mhm.
How is rezoning it commercial consistent with the land use plan if it is
But you are missing the point. What they say that the proposed zoning change align with the future use plan.
but that's the question I'm asking. The future land use plan of
It's
2040.
open, Tish. It's open. Everything is open for the city. I mean, every time something
Anything
comes out of
goes.
the
Land plan does the land use plan doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter because the staff comes up with the same thing, future use, and then they have impact on public safety, morale, and general welfare. Come on, Tish. I mean, it's just
let me
boilerplate.
tell you, but this was the argument that the attorney for the 7-Eleven was making, was like that it's gonna be
You
good.
just upset because now, Tish, again, I know I'm cutting you. You just upset because they're gonna provide nutrition food. You just upset about that.
Right
That's
across
all.
the street from the grocery store that really has nutritious food. I know. But let me. But I want to make this point because I think it's worth it. It bears being stated. Mr. Floyd, you had an attorney stand in front of the council and make the argument that this would be good for the economics of the community, that it would drive street redevelopment because you have to have crowded streets in order to get people to come in and redesign the streets. Like you have to be able to, and there's some, I'm not going to say that there's not validity to that because you always hear, well, we need to do a study and see what the volume is before we can do anything, right? So I'm not disagreeing, but what I'm going to say is when you hear that as the narrative and then you turn around, and I'm going to switch lanes a little bit, but then you turn around and you hear the council, well, the mayor in particular, and maybe some other members of council. I'll say this, the mayor and the mayor pro tem, because I've heard both of them say it. And they tout as wins these types of development projects, and they tout as economic wins, things like the Amazon facility. But they don't take into account the fact that those are only wins for their balance sheet. They're not really wins for the community because even when you talk about Amazon, yeah, it might have increased our corporate tax revenue, but we all still got tax bills that doubled. So if Amazon was a win, you would not have needed that +6 when it came to revenue neutral in order to be able to make up for any budgetary shortfalls. Because if Amazon was a win, that corporate tax increase would have made up for a lot of what you just had to tax your citizens for with the +6. Because now remember, Mr. Floyd, everybody kept saying revenue neutral, revenue neutral, revenue neutral. Well, I was the one who kept hearing plus.
I told you voodoo tax. I shared with you that it was a voodoo tax. Voodoo.
Because the +6 is what it ended up with all of our bills doubling. So when you have people who are disconnected from the actual impact of their policies on the community that is impacting, you get this kind of government. You get the kind of government that says a 7-Eleven is consistent with the land use plan for this area. And it makes sense because it's going to bring jobs. What kind of jobs?
$24,000 a year.
And
$27,000
it's bring fresh food options. Well, how fresh can the food options be in comparison to what's across the street at this Food Lion that's right here? Like, make it make sense, Mr. Floyd.
Well, let me tell you, when we're talking about future street improvement, the state of North Carolina has about $65 billion worth of road improvement. And they consider that is going to be a project for the state. I think the last one I saw was in 2007. They should have had a conversation with the Federal Metropolitan Planning Organization prior to see what plans were in place for that intersection. Now, in 2014, I sent Heisman at that time was the chair or whatever it was with the Federal Metropolitan Planning Organization to widen Rose Hill Road from 401 bypass to
Right.
Ramsey Street. And
Right.
you all were blessed with $2.5 million traffic circles, out of that change that took place 10 years ago. So my concern there, Teach, is that the only improvement that will be in that area will be what the division has funding to do.
Already in the pipeline. Let me say this also, Mr. Floyd, because I cannot sit on this any longer. There were two things that were said in that meeting that made my blood boil. And if I would have been sitting in that dais, I would have made sure that that attorney heard both of these things. The first thing was, I almost said something that I'm not supposed to say on the podcast. The first thing was that attorney said they have come back with the changes that you all asked for, Mr. Floyd, and I'm paraphrasing. And one of the changes was a chain link fence around the retention or detention pond. I instantly was like infuriated. Let me tell you why. When I served on council, there were people who wanted to put up fences around their property. They wanted to put up chain link fences around their property and were told that they could not do so because it was against the UDO. So you mean to tell me I can't put a chain link fence up at my house as a private citizen, but a developer who should have deeper pockets than I is permitted to use that in the new construction of a commercial property? That was number one. Number two was when that attorney tried to liken a house sitting on 2 acres of land with no large parking lot to a
Well, Tisha, you got all remember.
to a corporate building. Mr. Floyd, he said this should have already been rezoned commercial. This should have it's been acting as a business. Mr. Floyd, that to me, that was what you call it voodoo economics. That was wordplay all day long because I run a home-based business. If I run a home-based business and I have an Airbnb, let's talk about both of those things. The Airbnb is a business. So are we saying that my Airbnb should be zoned commercial? Because it is a business. I don't live there. Other people come and stay there. Should that be rezoned commercial? And if that's
I think the whole city, I mean, to teach the whole city, like I said, you need to save that money that you pay for the zoning division and the money that you provide in staffing for
and
the
just
zoning
say
committee.
anything goes.
Let's have a wild west.
So what you're telling me is you're getting ready to vote for Paul Williams, the fight guy, because that's his whole campaign is everything that Mitch has been allowed to do and that he's let his what they call his cronies do, let everybody else do it too.
That's what is happening. Now, when you look at this development that we're talking about that's on Rose Hill Road, and you're talking about the tax base, what the city staff is looking at the tax base. But if you look at that area around there, they are paying quadruple the taxes that this little 160 unit would be of. To show you how confusing it is, on July the 8th, they said 180 plus. Then they said that he wants to move to 230 plus. And then we see this right here, 160 plus. So what is coming out of the zoning?
Yeah, be specific. Give us some.
What's the number? What's the number? I mean, so it's confusing. Again, if I was on the council, I would vote to only have one person in zoning, and that person would have a relationship with a technical review committee just to pass the information on. And the technical review committee can say, we only need concrete. We don't need to have rebar. We just need to have concrete and build it. That's what we're going to. And you talk about Amazon. Come on. I mean, and we boast about Amazon as a prime, $24,000 a year. We talking about the employment at the service station between $17,000 and $24,000 a year. We talking about a glass company that came
Who
and
can afford this housing that's being built? Who
He
can
can't afford it.
Mr. Floyd, let me say this, and then I promise I'm gonna shut up, because the last little piece of what I think is very important in all of this conversation is we have a governing body who is completely out of touch with reality. Completely. When I say, and maybe this is why this is my strong suit. Maybe this is why this is the season that God has sent me, because Mr. Floyd, when you have people who live in $500,000 houses, and you have people whose families have owned businesses in our community for the better part of 50, 60 years. Or when you have people, and this is the interesting thing, and I'm going to be specific because I think it's a beautiful thing, and this is not a dig. When you have people like Mitch or like Kathy who have inherited the family business and who have inherited, the ability to just build upon a legacy that's already been established, sometimes they can be out of touch with the realities of people who are still trying to figure out how to get that done.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's fortunate that their parents was able to have, long range
And that they're
vision.
able to do that for their children. But we have to be concerned about the people whose parents didn't leave them a legacy. We
Well,
have to be concerned about the people who are just trying to figure out how to get a job to afford these $1,400 3-bedroom units.
well, let me say this to you, Tisha. I know we're back. Could you talk with the county board of commissioner or the clerk or the county is to make sure that they have a schedule, of a property that's going to be sold on public auction.
Because baby, these taxes it's about to be some people that's gonna lose their lunch because of these tax revaluations.
And the house is going to go up for sale, public auction, because when you're talking about a person who is a senior person had an $89,000 house and it jumps up to $177,000 house and about $600
Just
more.
talking to somebody in Broadell who said, I got a tax bill for $1,400. She is 93 years old. She is on a fixed income, and she said she was down at the tax office, and by the grace of God, God sent an angel in at the same time with her, and that person said, I got it, I'll take care of it for you. That's not going to be everybody's story. That's not going to be everybody's story, Mr. Floyd. And these people have homes that are paid for. They don't have mortgages. So if they go up for auction, now think about this. If these homes go up for auction, they don't have to be auctioned off for what the person owes the bank, because they don't owe the bank. They're going to sell these homes that are now valued at $235,000 will sell for the price of the taxes. And the people who are going to snatch them up are going to be the ones who are in the know. It's not going to be for public consumption. This is a wealth transfer preparing to happen as such that our generation has never seen.
I tell you what, Tish, what you're going to have is what we already have. Everybody calling you every day about your property. They're going to have a staff that's simply looking at the county tax bases every day to see what houses are coming up, because people are going to be unable to afford to pay the tax. I mean, think about it now. You have 4 months. They set the tax bill out, and I'm grateful for the county for allowing you to pay payments, because a lot of people are going to have to pay $600 to $700 to $1,000 a month to meet that January 5th deadline. Okay.
Let's not forget about people that have mortgages, Mr. Floyd, and now their mortgage is going up $200-$300, and they don't know it yet until they get that mortgage statement that lets them know, because their taxes have increased. Because a lot of people forget about those people too. But Floyd, what you want to leave our people with? Go ahead. You tell them what you want to tell them.
I just wish that our people would take a good look at the board and the boards in which they ask them to represent them in their behalf, and quit voting on people because you like them. Vote on people who can deliver and have respect for your vote. Remind you now, respect for your vote. And like I said, I mean, Malik Davis, he is my representative. I think that even the motion that he made, he said the next meeting, you have to look at things prior to, and like the mayor said, future, not, you're talking about October, and what the person is going to do then, Madam Waddell, they're going to look again, and we're going to have more people there in October. You see, because they know basically how the government works and
They know
what
how
this
it works.
organization want to do, and like they do in most minority community, they play the wait tap.
That's right.
Wait them out.
That's why you, the people, need elected officials who have hearts of instructors, because you need somebody who's going to pull the curtain back, teach you what's going on back there so you can learn how to play the game too. They should not be the special interest groups, and the politicians should not be the only people who understand the rules of engagement.
And I explained it to them, T. That's one thing that I have done to this, and they knew that we was organized.
Mm-hmm.
We were organized, T, to deliver a presentation to the council, as it relates to this zoning. Because what if the council look at future land use, then the council ought to look at development that is going to have green space,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be healthy.
But all of that was in the 2040 land use plan. That was all laid out. It was a great plan. But now, as we continue to chip away at it, it's just a piece of paper. It's a document that serves no real value, because, as you've stated, we see that people can just do what they want to do.
Well,
Everybody
that's
can just
not
do
it.
what they want to do, except for those of us who are residential homeowners who just want to do what we want to do at home. We don't have that luxury. We are held to the letter of the law and to the standard, because the rules only exist for us. They don't exist if you can pay an attorney to come before the council, and that attorney has a relationship with this board and they can influence this board, you can get whatever you want. But if
But
you
Teach,
do not have those resources,
I'm
you
sorry.
cannot put
I'm
a
sorry,
chain
T.
at your home.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Teach, but I don't blame the developer
At
for
all.
getting this attorney. I don't
At
blame him.
all.
And I
Not
don't blame the attorney for accepting this organization as a client. Okay.
at all. But I
I mean,
blame this governing body. I don't even blame them. I applaud them for remaining consistent in showing us exactly where their interests lie. Mr. Floyd, final words.
my dog is tired, Teach. That's all I'm gonna say. My dog is tired.
Yeah.
He no longer want to run the 440. He don't even want to be the anchor in the 440. He don't even want to sprint in the 440.
Yeah.
He just gonna wait until the as you know, we got 3 voting place. We just gonna wait until the primary time and then run that 440.
That's it. Mr. Floyd, I just want to say again, and I love that we're staying with what we're staying with. There's no justice apart from righteousness. And I was asked a question, about my position and my stance on some things. And I'm just reminded every single day that my objective is to remain in right standing with the God I serve. And if that means that I piss off the whole world because I remain in right standing with the God I serve, then that's just what it is. And so I want us to be certain that we understand that if we truly wish to see a just system, we must start looking at people who embody the core values of righteousness. Notice I did not say perfection. Notice I did not say that, I said righteousness. They need to be actively engaged in trying to be in right standing. And that's all I have, Floyd. So with that, I'm gonna say, don't forget about the event that I was telling you guys about, Praises Greater Than Politics, on September the 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. at True Vine Ministries. All of the candidates for municipal office in the city of Fayetteville have been invited to this event. I've received an RSVP. I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Kathy Jensen for being the first person to reach back out to me and say that while she does have another engagement, she would like to still come. So thank you for that. And I want to encourage everybody else, because I know y'all are watching. I know y'all are watching because y'all say stuff. I know you heard it here. So I want to encourage all the other 28 candidates to RSVP, because we would like for you to be there. This is not a campaign rally There will be no active fundraising, no active campaigning. We are coming together to come together for our city. And we can do that because we need to love this city more than we dislike each other as candidates. So let's come together and show this city that regardless of us running, sometimes applying for the same jobs, we can still do what's best for our community. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Like, share, subscribe, follow Mr. Floyd. Make sure you tell a friend to catch us on the
I
next.
was not telling Tisha, look at government.